In this video, we're going to continue with some terminology, and we're also going to look at our first set of calculations. The first thing to discuss here are populations and parameters compared to samples and statistics. And this is going to be a major part of the course, especially later on. But a population is the entire group of individuals that we wish to obtain information about in our study, the entire group of people or objects. So a population could be all students at TCC, could be all TI-84 calculators, could be all residents of the United States. So it's often time-consuming or very costly to get information, to get data from all individuals in an entire population. But now, if you can do this somehow, if you have a small population or if it's a very large population but you can somehow talk to every individual, the data obtained from a population will produce parameters as its descriptors. So if I can somehow talk to every single student who attends TCC, and I can ask them what their GPA is and find that average GPA. That's a parameter because it's coming from all students. On the other hand, a sample is just a subgroup or a subset within a population. So it's not talking to all TCC students, but maybe 100 students at TCC or 250 students at TCC. It's not everybody, it's just a portion. Data from a sample can be used along with some statistical methods, some data analysis that we'll study later on, to make inferences about the population. Data obtained from a sample produce statistics as descriptors. This is a statistics class. So we're going to be using samples and their statistics to make assertions about the population and parameters. That's our ultimate goal for this class, to use samples and their statistics to make assertions about populations and their parameters. That wraps up our terms for the most part in Chapter 1. What we want to look at next is a way to organize our data. And this is a big focus in the next chapter as well. But our first way to display data is going to be with a two-way tables. With a two-way table. You need to know that two-way tables are a common way to organize related categorical variables. So we're going to use two-way tables for categorical variables, not for numeric variables. The number of times a characteristic occurs, or its frequency, is placed into the appropriate cell. Two-way tables provide a method to comparing groups. However, please be sure to use percentages rather than raw data when you're making those comparisons. So here's an example, our second example in these videos for Chapter 1. It says, in 2011, the U.S. Census Bureau surveyed 100,000 households where 305,688 people lived. The Census Bureau wanted to gather social and economic information about American citizens. The two-way table below shows the number of people in 4 regions of the U.S. who have no health insurance and the number of people who have some type of health insurance. So here displayed is the data collected from our sample. We didn't talk to every single household in the country. The U.S. Census Bureau surveyed 100,000 households. There are way more than 305,688 people in the U.S. There are millions of people. So we have just a sample here. And we can use this information in some statistical methods to make assertions about the population. But we can see in the Northeast region, 6,761 people have no health insurance, whereas 47,957 have some health insurance. And if I add these together, it would give me a total of 54,718. Now what we want to do in part A of this example is fill in these missing cells. So for the Midwest, this is our first blank. I know that this 8,598 plus some number here gave me the 66,006 people. So to find the missing blank, I can use my calculator. I can hit that 66,006 that were total in the Midwest, take away the 8,598 who had no health insurance, and that gives me 57,408. And you can double check this. If you add these two numbers together, it will give you the 66,006. Same thing for the South. If I add the 21,639 plus the 91,498, it's going to give me this 113,137. And to fill in our last blank here for the West, its total, I could take the 12,837 plus the 58,990 to get the missing total there. So 12837 plus the 58,990. So I get 71,827. I've got the total here. And these totals come from adding all of these with no health insurance. If I add all of these together, it's going to be the 49,835. If I add the total with some health insurance all the way down these four numbers, it's going to be 255,853, and same with this column. That is a property of two-way tables. The rows add up to be the totals on the right-hand side. The columns add to be the totals on the bottom. So I filled in the missing cells. For part B, the final part of this video, says although the South has the most people with some health insurance, if I look in that column, South has 91,498, which is more than the Northeast, the Midwest, and the West. We want to know, is it still the region with residents most likely to have some health insurance? So again, it's not enough to compare the raw data, the raw numbers, but I need to compare the percentages. So I want to see, well, what percentage of people in each region have some health insurance? So I could start with the Northeast to see what percentage has some health insurance. I would take the 47,957, divide it by the total in that region, 54,718, and that will give me 87.6%. So 87.6% of people in the Northeast have health insurance. Then I can move to the Midwest. It is 57,408 with some health insurance divided by the total of 66,006 gives me 86.97% or 87% with some health insurance. And now for the South, I could take the 91,498 divided by the total in the South of the 113,137, and that gives me 80.87 or 80.9%. And so I don't even have to calculate the West. I don't have to go down any farther because I know that the South is not the region with residents most likely to have some health insurance. The Northeast is at 87 or 88%. The Midwest is at 87%, and the South is only about 81%. So the answer to this question here would be no. It is not the region most likely to have health insurance.